this is confirming what we already know. Steam appears to have started posting a notice in its shopping cart that purchases in a storefront are only for a license and not a game, according to a note spotted by Engadget. It looks like an attempt by the company to get ahead of the new California law coming next year that forces companies to admit that buyers don't actually own digital content. When you open your shopping cart with items inside and before going to payment, a notice at the bottom right states, a purchase for a digital product grants a license for the product on Steam. This is the first our editors have seen a notice like this, and we use Steam a lot, so it appears to be relatively new. Last month, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed AB 2426 into law, forcing digital marketplaces to make it clear to customers when they only purchase a licensed access media, it will only apply to permanent offline downloads, only digital copies of it will not apply to permanent offline downloads, only digital copies of video games, music, movies, CDs, ebooks for an online storefront. Companies that fail to comply could face fines for false advertising if they don't explain in clear language limitations of a given digital purpose. The law follows situations like Ubisoft deleting the crew from players' libraries after the game server shuttered. Ubisoft again, thank you. Because Ubisoft didn't like Steam. They had to set up their own PC distribution center. Because they suck. Because they can't just use Steam like everybody else. I know a lot of people love Steam. And I guess Steam has to say this, but you can download the games off Steam and store them on your hard drive, right?
Don't know, never tried.
That was my understanding of it. You don't play it through the cloud, right?
But something tells me that a lot of these games you can only play if you're connected to the internet, even if all the files are resident on your hard drive. I don't know. I've never tried it, so I don't know for certain. But all I know is that a lot of fans that, look, I've been saying this all along. I've been saying own physical media. If you own something on a streaming service, or basically that's what Steam is for games, you don't own anything. They can take it away from you at any time they want. They can change it anytime they want, and they do. And there's a lot of customers of theirs that I've seen on, and not that I'm necessarily saying that Age of Boomer and the Geeky Geezers necessarily agrees with this, although maybe Troy does. If purchase is not ownership, then maybe pirating isn't stealing. Just saying.
Good point. I'm not going to necessarily argue there, because unfortunately, as much as I'd like to say don't, I also understand that in a lot of cases with some movies and a lot of old games, the only way you can legitimately own them is by piracy. Like that's why when a company does go to the extra mile, like Konami did with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection, where they had all the games on a disc or a Switch card you get off Steam. This is a company at least going to the trouble of releasing these games, paying the license and releasing them. So in that case, go out and buy the official release. And I'll even say with this instance, they actually went the extra mile and give you extra stuff with the game too, like all sorts of, making of files on the disc and all things you could do to get rid of flicker on the old games if you wanted. You could either play them as they originally were, or you could spruce them up a bit. It was neat. I am still against sending super chats.
You are nuts, Clue. Thank you so much. You are wonderful. You're the sponsor of the stream tonight, no doubt about it.
It sucks all the more when you remember Xbox going digital releases in the near future. Yeah, they're really trying to, even Sony, that got rid of their, I think someone made a comment about that in the last stream, how they got rid of their disk drive. I mean, you can buy a separate one to attach to it, but it's like, what are you doing, people? Troy Sega did the same thing with the Jurassic Park classic games. I don't know. As far as I knew, you can't get those classic Jurassic Park games. Those were the Nintendo ones that were on Nintendo consoles, not the Sega versions. Because I want to get the Sega versions. Because in the Sega version of Jurassic Park, you could play as either Dr. Alan Grant or you could play as the Raptor.
Interesting.
You could play one mode of the game where you could play as the Raptor, the Velociraptor. Come on, that's neat. But I guess it's good though that we're now being upfront about.
That's really all it is. It's
forcing
the truth in
about Gavin Newsom, but I agree with him here. See, I can agree on something.
Yeah. This doesn't do anything substantially different. This was always the way it was. Now you're just aware of it.
Yeah,
they're forcing them to be honest about it.
Yeah. So
So was I a conspiracy theorist back when I was saying it? You know, or you know,
well, apparently
now that it's proven again.
Apparently,
you know,
I didn't own the French Connection because they were able to censor it on me.
There you go. I told you.
Started on the French Connection. That was Disney. I just copied the Jurassic Park video games for the anniversary on disc. I know, but I think it's the versions that were on Nintendo, not the ones on Sega. I could be wrong though. All right, like the one for the Super Nintendo. They did a follow-up too on the one on Super Nintendo. I think it was called Jurassic Park 2: The Chaos Continues, and it was a like a sequel to the original Jurassic Park movie. And I think it was the bad guys in it were that rival corporation that wanted the DNA. Remember them?
Sure, that makes sense.